This is information. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like the new number of Wilson's Meat Market, 1191 Sycamore Street, please.
This whole idea, by the way, the one-stop shop, comes to me from living in Atlanta. People are killing themselves to get the hell out of Atlanta to go live in outside the perimeter, and it's taking them 3 hours to get home each way. And now they're eating pizza, but they're making more money, and they're not as happy and they're less healthy. We failed as a purveyor. We failed them. We're not making the healthiest thing possible available to them when they need it. We fucked up. We need to make sustainable, healthy stuff more readily available. Yes, it's our fault. Yes, we're getting other things in our way. There's money there. There's a lot of money there. Everything we're talking about, it has to have slamming product. It is insane to think that one company is going to change the face of the planet in one way. What we're doing now is just as groundbreaking as we were with Fleischer's. I just wanted free video games. That's really what it is. I just like Burger Time. Sorry, I've said it.
They were just at the exact right time. They saw something that was a total gap in the world and they filled it. I think it's obviously an expandable concept. I think it's maybe one of those things where you find people whose hands you had trusted in different locations. Like he said, he has a community of butchers all across the country who maybe it would give them one day where they could be with their kids more, or like just extra time with their families. So maybe expanding it into other people's hands as well.
He's like trying to do the whole local butcher shop thing, but combine it with the sort of convenience that one gets in a anonymous grocery store setting.
This is how it started in my head. I'm like, wait a second, I can tell a farmer who's getting $6 a pound for ground beef, all of a sudden they can get 40 pounds, or $40 a pound, because you can turn it into snack sticks, which is 1.5 ounces for like $4 or $3. Ounce and a half. They can sell her a fistful of snack sticks for 20 bucks.
Mr. Rich Guy is going to go into the medomatic, right? And he's going to buy the racks of lamb. But a family on a fixed income, you know, might go in there and buy all of the lamb sausages, the merguez, you know, and you know, you can feed 12 people, you know, for $10 of lamb sausages.
He's kind of like slipping into this middle ground, which I think is something that you're going to see, not necessarily medomats, but I mean, you're going to start seeing more and more of like the cryoed steaks, like grass-fed steaks and local pork or whatever in the grocery store, kind of a thing. You know, I can go to the C-Town that's 2 blocks away and buy a grass-fed steak. I mean, it's in a cryovac and like it's probably from Uruguay or something, but it's not impossible to get.
You have to make these things more accessible. And the way to do that is to make it less expensive, make it on their terms that it could be a 24/7, and then the machines came about. Oh, I'd love some, thank you. The minimum is around 86. You can go up to 240. Of course, as the more slots you go, the less space you have in them. At 240, it's almost like a bookend where it's like, you know, like this. So depending on the height, there are different heights, of course. Depends on what you could put in there. Depending, you know, you put snack sticks, stuff like that. This type of sales experience here, I hope, will create memories. You know, man, it's just like when your wife's out of town, you and your kid are eating late. You guys are trying to figure out what the hell you want to do. You're like, forget it. The new Star Wars movie came out on iTunes. Open the freezer. Nothing. You know what? We're running down to Applestone. We're gonna grab a couple of packs of hot dogs. We're gonna play a video game. By the way, I still have the high score in Pac-Man. See it. Let's go, kid. And the kid jumps in the truck. You run down. It creates lasting memories. You're getting a product that's healthy. You're getting a product that's safe. You get to play Burger Time for free, and you go home and you get to live your life. It's these little things that create what we are. I could do this facility without a doubt for $2 million anywhere in the world, I imagine. As long as there's running water and basic utilities, I could do a brick and mortar like this, create the same product I'm doing here, and I can do it in Chicago. I can do it in Wichita, Kansas. And then outside Wichita, Kansas, I can open up 50 medomats. Right. And I can supply them all within that.
And the entire point is
you can do 10 facilities
with local
around Kansas.
If you've been a New Yorker, I mean, or any busy city, and you stand outside of a subway station, and you see how many people look like they're running back and forth, and I could see it working. I mean, I can see it working as long as people are confident that it's properly treated. I could really see it working. And if I'm buying meat out of a machine, I want to know where it's coming from.
We do a strict cattle program and a strict pork program from 2 different sources. Our big things are no added hormones and no antibiotics. Small farms, locally raised.
I would be stocking every 3 days, roughly. And of course, as time goes on, the selection will change. Just depends on what sells, what doesn't, what time. Same way you stock a butcher case. It's exactly the same. That depends on what's going on. Depends on what time of the year. You know, is it cold? Is it warm? You know, is it football season? You know, right now we just have raw, non-intact. And this, by the way, is the Jimmy Jam right here, is that you can actually select what you want. Because without this, the shopping experience becomes strictly a vending thing where you must take this, and the next one goes to the next. People need a choice. What you're doing is you're fabricating someone going, oh, not that steak, one behind. No, that one, yes, that one. And that's what you need, because if people don't have choice, it's the sliced bread theory, where people go into a bag of bread and they go all the way to the middle, because that's what they want. And if you cannot give someone what they want, no matter how much it is, they're not going to do it.
Josh wants to make really, really good beef jerky that kids will enjoy. Josh wants to make really good, you know, hot dog sausages that kids will enjoy. Josh wants to make a brat, but not a brat from, you know, like a brat from noble cuts of, you know, well-raised animals, organic if possible, you know.
He has a mind for what's fun in the world and what's right as well. So he's always kind of like his basic desires and like wants in the world are already defined by what's good and what's fun and what's right.
To me, to do another butcher shop, I could not sell to enough people that I want to sell to. So I need to make myself more accessible.
I think that the small butcher shop is probably at its peak.
We have clients that have come in here for a long time. They're going to retire, or they're going to move away, or they're going to go, and you have a younger generation that's going to fill their shoes. So you have to continuously evolve. When you're dealing with small farms, there's usually a lot of pride that goes into the product.
It's never been about being old-fashioned. It's always been about being sustainable.
If you don't want to go to a butcher shop and you don't trust the supermarket, there's very little options. I created another option.
Everybody's on the go all the time. People don't mind to pay for quality. Sometimes they don't want to wait for quality.
The larger retail food industry is a big ship, and it takes it time to turn around, but once it's headed your direction, you need to watch out. If you don't have your wits about you as a small business owner who has a retail butcher shop, I mean, having worked for Whole Foods and like own my own business, it's like that big battleship gets turned around and it's headed for you.
They're gonna look at guys like Josh and wake up. you know. Josh is the canary in the coal mine, you know. I'm sure they're watching him too, you know.
The sustainability movement seems to have slowed just a little bit. And I think this is one way of pushing it forward. It's like, it's proof that they were never in it for the show or the fashion. Like, they're still saying, like, no, this is still an issue. Like, meat eating is still something to think about. And how do we think about it? How do we keep people thinking about it? We make it part of their everyday life, and we make it accessible to them in a different way. So you're reaching a whole new audience saying the same thing that you've been saying for years to a select few.
This is huge. This is huge. It's not just, this idea of these machines, it's not just about meat, you understand. It's about healthy living.